We want to know how was your life back then, initially, about your initial days.
In college, I was from Mumbai, so I didn't get hostel. So we used to live in a small room very near the college. When you get the first job, right, it's a completely different feeling. It was a completely unknown field. Some sort of insecurity that what happens, will I be able to do it?
After working at Infosys, you shifted to a smaller company, and throughout your career, you also mentioned that you prefer to work for smaller setups and smaller companies.
Over a period of time, I realized that people spend a lot of time in pleasing other guys rather than doing the actual work. In larger organizations, it's difficult to actually set up your mark.
As you said, you started NICHEM and everything 2014 approximately.
2014. Yes.
Yeah. So do you recollect the early days? Any specific
Absolutely.
struggles? We want to know about your early days. How was it back then?
Initially, we were struggling about what to sell, what products to make, what products to sell. So we thought about agriculture. So we created some agriculture products, we branded them, we started retail, we found a distributor who could do it. But then later on we realized that collection in agriculture is a huge issue.
What challenges did you face while working over there, and how has that helped you shape your mindset as an entrepreneur today?
You need to start respecting your own time. There are two main pillars that I personally believe are for leadership. One is a time and second is relationship. So your job as a leader is to make sure that the people are comfortable. They are not stressed.
There are a lot of professionals, around here who want to start on their own.
Yeah.
So how do you think it is important for them to initially work at smaller or micro organizations before starting their own venture?
I believe that they should spend at least couple of years working somewhere.
But we want to know how has been the growth of your business from the start.
In the worst case, let's say just we borrow some money from somewhere on loan and try to grow, which we were on track to convert to private limited. A lot of people will tell you that no, it is a better structure, private limited is a more professional. A lot of people have this notion that private limited means that the liability of the partner or the director goes down. The entire loan, 4,000 crore loan or whatever that amount was taken by Kingfisher, which was a private limited or a public company, whichever what was it. Why do you call Vijay Mallya? Our chemicals are invented by us.
It really defines असली MSME की असली कहानी.
Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to our second episode of the MSME Show. We want to really thank everyone for a phenomenal response to the first episode of the MSME Show. Today we have with us a very interesting person, and it's an honor to welcome you, Aniket sir. Welcome to our show. And from working at Infosys to leading a company today which makes 125 plus specialty chemicals, it's an honor to welcome you, sir. So once
Thank
again,
you.
welcome you to our show.
Thanks, Kunal.
Yes.
Thanks.
And sir, I would immediately want to deep dive into the conversation. Like
Sure.
you started your first job at Infosys.
Yeah.
And we want to know how was your life back then, initially, about your initial days. We would love to know about that.
Sure. Coincidentally, I just finished, I completed 25 years of graduation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I passed out in 2000 from COEP, Metallurgy, and my first job was Infosys. So in college, I was from Mumbai, so I didn't get hostel. So we used to live in a small room very near the college. And post that period, when you get the first job, right, it's a completely different feeling. First of all, because you start getting money, right? You're actually getting paid, so the salary part comes into picture. And the second aspect is that it was a completely unknown field. So I was engineer in metallurgy, and I was put in a software field. So it was kind of, there was some sort of insecurity that what happens, will I be able to do it? Because when you join, that time we realized that most of the people around are computer science background people. They know computers. The day I joined Infosys was a remarkable day because on that day, 1,000 people across India had joined, and that was their largest batch.
Oh, wow.
But it kept on increasing. The next batch was 1,500, etc., etc. Right? But that was an exciting period because every time new people were coming in. So Infi actually offered about 90 days of training, and it was a kind of kickstart for all the people, non-techies, to become techies. So I took it really, really seriously. Sometimes I used to take my bag to office, and there was a guest house, so I used to stay there for 3-4 days. until the project is completed, or if there is an assignment which is a little difficult. So initial scores of the assessment were not that great, but eventually I improved a lot. So I actually even became topper in a couple of the courses at the back end of the course. So it was a very enriching experience overall, I would say.
Okay. After working at Infosys, you shifted to a smaller company, and throughout your career, you also mentioned that you prefer to work for smaller setups and smaller companies.
Correct.
Can you throw some light on that?
Yes, there is a very important reason for that. One is that when a company becomes too big, right, it becomes completely system driven, process oriented, which is a good part. But then also there are a lot of people, and with people, different type of problems come, like office politics and other things, right? So over a period of time, I realized that people spend a lot of time in pleasing other guys rather than doing the actual work. In larger organizations, it's difficult to actually set up your mark. It's very difficult to grow. I'm not saying that it's a norm. There are people who have been able to grow despite that, and they're doing really well. But unfortunately, I thought that it won't be my cup of tea. So I thought, if I go to a smaller company, I can spend more time working, and also at the same time, I can get the recognition that I wanted. And it actually worked like that. So the first company that I left Infosys for a company called Celoxys. So it was 7 people company. There I realized that actually I don't know anything. 2.5 years of Infosys. Technically, I was not that sound. That was actually another reason to leave Infosys also, because the work is not very technical in nature. It was not for me. And this guy, the owner of Celoxys, Nikhil, he's my good friend. He used to tell me what he was doing. And then he had total freedom of any software that he wanted to use, any experiment that he wanted to do. So I was very fascinated with that concept, which doesn't happen in large company. If you're working with a, let's say, DHL project, they will say, okay, this is the language that we want to use because we already have systems. We want you to integrate in that. So the setup is already there. So there is no scope of innovation or, doing something different over there. But in a smaller company, you can actually propose to the bosses that, or you can even convince them that this is the new technology, I want to try it out. And there is a very, very high chance that you will get an opportunity. So I was in Celoxys for about 9 months, I would say. And in those 9 months, whatever I learned was far more than what I learned in Infosys. Some of the concepts that I learned in Celoxys, I used in Saba in 2012. Okay, it was that far ahead of time. So that is the reason I wanted to work with smaller companies where you get more flexibility.
Great. So this gets me to the next question. Like, over the period of time working with multiple companies, when was the point of time in your life when you decided that, I want to build something of my own or get into it? So can you tell us about that journey also?
So to be honest, it was not during the office tenure as such that I had that thought. I somehow always wanted to become an entrepreneur. It was not that I was frustrated with my bosses, which is the typical reason that you would hear that, okay, and a lot of people think that when they are technically very strong, they can think that they can start their company. But my reason was not that. My reason was I somehow had a feeling internally always that I wanted to do something on my own. I was waiting for the right opportunity. And when I was in second year of engineering, I actually did a internship with my current partner, Mr. Rajan Raje, who had a company back then. We have an age difference of 25 years. So he's my father's friend. So he had offered me a internship, which was again in the chemical company that he had. And I worked there for about a month, and I realized that, yeah, it was fun. So I had that thought that sometime I would like to start something of my own. But it was not during it's like I said, so it was definitely not like due to frustration that I started. It was always a
pure out of passion.
Yeah.
Great. So what I also want to understand is, being from software engineer, doing multiple roles at multiple startups, what did these companies and roles teach you about ownership and leadership? Can you throw some light on that?
Right. Yeah. So actually, it's a very interesting question. So first of all, what happens is that you need to start respecting your own time. Okay. Very honestly, lot of the things that I'm going to talk about right now, what I did back then, the understanding I got now. Okay, I used to do that, but now I have started understanding that what I did and why it was important also. So there are two main pillars that I personally believe are for leadership. One is a time, and second is relationship. Okay, so the time part is critical in the sense that you have to start valuing your time, and you have to also start valuing other people's time. The moment you start doing that, you basically become organized. You then start using calendars more. You start becoming more planned person. Secondly, as you grow up in the ladder, the value of your time goes up. So the tasks that you are doing should justify your salary. If after 10 years you are a manager and you are still doing very menial tasks, then actually you are making losses for the company. Your company expects you to do something far more valuable because they are paying you. So your cost of your time goes up, the value of your time goes up, and you have to start respecting that part, right? Because you have come from very a small background and low background, you can do that task. You know that if you ask this person to sit aside and you will do it, you will do it, no doubt. But you're not supposed to do that because it takes probably same amount of time, or even if it is lesser, that time is critical, right? So this comes to delegation automatically. What I'm ultimately meaning is, in a different way. If you look at it, you should delegate your tasks, and it's not because you are now too big to do those tasks. Now your time is valuable to do those tasks, and now you have to do something different which will justify your value of time, right? So this is one important part. And second is relationship, which is again a very crucial pillar, because if you don't have good relationship with your bosses as well as your peers as well as your team members, you're not going to have a very healthy environment. And finally, the key is that everybody wants to be happy in the everywhere they are, right? So in the workplace or in their houses. So if they bring the tensions of their houses in the office, it reflects on the office environment, and vice versa. If they bring home the tensions of the office to the work, to the home, then it shows in the home environment. So your job as a leader is to make sure that the people are comfortable, they are not stressed, and you can solve their problems up to a level, I would say, not too much of a personal problem. For that, you should direct them to HR or something. But as long as you are solving their problems and enabling them to do their job, they will deliver. And they will deliver it. Sometimes they will deliver it for you more than the company. And that's when they say, right, that you quit your bosses and not the company. It's absolutely true, because how you treat your people defines what type of person you are, and defines the environment for the employees at the end of the day. So that's what I learned. And like I said, this epiphany I got after I started reading more about leadership now. But I followed that principle a lot, actually, during my even during my office days. Yeah.
Sir, you have a diverse experience in working at Infosys, working at Saba. You handled many divisions in Saba.
Yeah.
What challenges did you face while working over there, and how has that helped you shape your mindset as an entrepreneur today?
Oh, that's actually a very good question. So every company, I had a different role to play, right? In Infosys, I was a very junior software engineer. Then in the next company, also I was a software engineer. Then became module lead. So as you grow, there are different type of challenges. So initially, the challenge is only to solve your problem, that this is a issue that I need to solve. I want to get hands on and everything. Also about learning, also about insecurities, that will I be able to solve, will I be able to deliver, etc., etc., etc. Now that when I look at it after so many years, I'm now sitting on the opposite side of the table. So I can relate a lot to the people who are currently working for me in my organization, right? So that doesn't happen if I started a business right after my college and without any experience, I wouldn't face the issues that the employees are facing right now. Because I faced those, I could actually relate to them much more. So eventually what I realized that any industry, be it software industry, be it manufacturing industry, the overall business remains same. What you deliver is the only thing that is different. In IT industry, you're delivering a software. In chemical industry, you're delivering a chemical. That's about it, right? But apart from that, the roles, the supporting roles, the HR, the accounts, the sales team, all that part remains the same. And in fact, IT industry is heavily borrowed from the manufacturing industry. Even the names are same, right? Production, R&D, QC, all the names are exactly same. So it was not very difficult for me to actually understand the processes over here, because it's the same, just that the output is different.
Great. So, sir, adding here, there are a lot of professionals, around here who want to start on their own.
Yeah.
So, how do you think it is important for them to initially work at smaller or micro organizations before starting their own venture? So, we would like to know that also.
No, it's actually, in my opinion, I still believe, I have seen a lot of people who do their engineering, then they do their MBA, and then directly go for some sort of, they want to start up a company or maybe a venture. I believe that they should spend at least couple of years working somewhere. Okay, that time actually humbles you. And I've seen and heard stories about entrepreneurs which are in my business group, when they say that even their sons or daughters who join the company, some of them actually make sure that they sit with the sales guys or production guys on the shop floor, so that they understand the issues of those guys. So if you're a very bright guy, good college, good MBA college, it's easy to raise money and start your own venture if you have an idea. But more than the idea, the execution matters. Idea can be anything. Like, I'll give you some example that even today, the food delivery, or you can say the 10-minute e-commerce that you're seeing, it's not a brilliant idea. Okay, it's a very simple and replicable idea. But why only few companies are successful is because of the execution. Okay, even for that matter, e-commerce is a very replicable idea, right? You can build a website and you can say that, okay, you start selling and I'll find customers. The idea is, core idea is only that, very simple idea. Why are not people able to replicate that? It's all about execution, right? So, and how do you get to execution? It's about experience. It's not about education. Classroom education, why I also did not pursue education after my engineering, is because I thought that maybe classroom education is not that enriching. Okay, hands-on experience is more important, and you should keep upskilling yourself. Skill development after a particular point is more important than the classroom education. I don't have a PhD, but if I am working on certain things, like suppose today AI comes, and if I master AI to implement that in my company, it's no less than a PhD actually, right? And that's more valuable to my company, because I am able to implement that in the company. I'm going to get outputs. So that's what matters to me, in my opinion, that you should spend some time in some organization, going through the rut, going through the problems, see those problems, and then when you're starting, your mindset is completely different.
How many years did you spend in the IT industry?
It's 14 years.
Okay, so after spending more than a decade, almost more than 1.5 decades,
Yeah.
What made you shift to chemical manufacturing?
So, like I said, so first of all, I had this thought of starting something of my own. Logically, I would have started something in IT only. But my father is a scientist, and he was a consultant to a gentleman, Mr. Rajan Raje. And since 93, Mr. Raje and one of his partners, so he had a partner, and they had a business, chemical business, which was based on my father's technologies. So whatever they manufactured was invented by my father. And in 2014, Mr. Raje separated from his partner, and that was the opportunity to start NICHEM. So the opportunity was like this, that there was some bit of existing business, because my uncle had separated from the existing business. So he didn't have too many customers. He had a very basic setup. He had a very few employees and some revenue. So which means that it was like a startup. And joining him would have been much more logical than starting completely from scratch, because first of all, he comes with a lot of experience. Secondly, again, I get the same freedom that I was looking for, because it was a smaller setup. And thirdly, more importantly, Mr. Raja was already in a space which was built on my father's inventions. Okay, so right as kids, so me and my brother both, we are not interested in chemistry. I like physics. My brother also liked physics. He's an electronics engineer, and now he's currently a professor of marketing in US. Okay, so but we always thought that my dad had, he is a genius and he had ideas which are worth implementing. Mr. Raje was doing that, so we were grateful about it. But somehow it was not he did not, I mean, he and his partner were not able to make it into a large company or a big company. So in 2014, when we got the opportunity, I thought that I couldn't get a better opportunity in my life because it ticks all the boxes, right? Small company, not a very completely raw company, plus my father's invention. So my idea was that if I am able to contribute to the success of the company, then it becomes a great thing for me. It becomes a legacy. So the idea was that because I don't know chemistry, it is added advantage because my uncle is technical, my dad is technical. Whenever they start talking, in within 2 minutes, that conversation goes to technical things. So when I am out of it, right? So the focus is different. The focus is on the business, and probably that was the missing part in the previous venture, and that's the reason I started this company.
Great. So, sir, like as you said, you started NICHEM and everything 2014 approximately.
2014. Yes.
Yeah. So, do you recollect the early days? Any specific
Absolutely,
struggles? We want to know about your early days. How was it back then?
Sure.
Can you run us through that?
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, it's a very clear image what happened. So we started in 14. So initially we were struggling about what to sell, what products to make, what products to sell. So we thought about agriculture. That agriculture is a great area and it's an unlimited area. So we created some agriculture products. We branded them. We started retail. We found a distributor who could do it. But then later on we realized that collection in agriculture is a huge issue, because somehow the farmer, once the complete crop cycle is over, once the produce comes, he sells the things in the market, he gets the money, then the payment cycle starts. So if it's sugarcane, then it's 18 months. If it is grapes, it's maybe 4 or 5 months. So it's a long credit cycle, and it's a kind of pain because for a small business to sustain, it becomes a problem. So we realized it about 2 or 3 years down the line that probably this is not exactly, it's not going to work for us. Though the margins are good, but the business, the cash flow wise, it's not great. So that was one part. Then we also did water purification. Then we did polymer additives. Everywhere we were actually struggling, and when the struggle was going on, we were also constantly analyzing that what is going wrong, why are we not able to grow. And at that time, then we started analyzing also the multinationals. So what do the multinationals do differently? Because our products are patentable. Today we have 16 patents filed. When we have a very different or innovative products which are probably comparable to multinationals or sometimes even better than multinationals, then where is the growth? Why is the growth not coming? Where is the hindrance? So then we started understanding that the multinationals actually spend a lot of time in testing their products. They generate a lot of data and they publish, rather whenever they are talking to customers, they actually give you very nice brochures with that data. Also external certificates that this product works not only in their labs but in the outside labs. So when we understood all that, and then we started spending all that a lot of money on these areas, where we started. In fact, we also implemented a application lab, which means that it mimics customer environments. It's a small lab, which is basically maybe the size of this room. Customer machines may be 5 times bigger than this, but we get miniature machine. They are actually people sell those kind of machines. So we implemented those machines. We generated our own data. Then we started doing third-party testing, publishing those results also along with our products, and then the traction started. So actually that was major difference between us and the multinationals. People don't trust the local companies. When they say that this is a Indian company, first of all they think that okay, it has to be cheap, and they might claim something and give you something else. So we decided that we will not compromise on certain things, and one of the main thing is environment, that we will never compromise on something which is toxic or carcinogen or those kind of things, right? So all the ingredients that we use is environmentally friendly. That is the starting point. So when you start thinking from these angles, and then you narrate that story, the response and the traction is actually different. So few of the challenges was that one of the major challenges as every MSME faces, finance. Okay, so I personally actually spent a lot of time understanding finance, reading books about it. Today, of course, we employ external people, external CFO, external CA. Everybody's there. Even account is there. But in my mind, the thought process is very clear that how I want to manage my finances. Okay, so how do you manage working capital? How do you want to manage the term loans? So a lot of people take pride in saying that we are a debt-free company, right? But actually, if you look at it, the cost of capital is very, very low. So which means that, and the cost of owner's capital is infinitely high. So if you're using your own money in buying a machine, actually you are making a mistake because you're using owner's capital. Owner's capital should be used in some better areas. If you can get a loan at 8% for a machine, then the value of that money is only 8%. But your own money, if you invest in stock market, grows at 30%, then the value of the machine money there is 30%. So this difference, owners have to understand that when should I borrow and when should I invest. Okay, and at the same time, the another problem is that people use short-term money in long-term assets. So they take money from working capital or CC and buy machines from that. So this is actually a big mistake. They should use long-term money for long-term assets. So which is a term loan, and working capital doesn't have a limit. It doesn't have an end date, right? Working capital is infinite. It keeps on going. So if a machine has a life, then why shouldn't a loan have a life? So loan should be 3 years, 5 years, something like that. So there has to be a term to the capital expenditures, and for the operational things, there is CC. So when I started understanding all these differences, plus the something called as cash conversion cycle, where you are actually how fast you are recovering money from the entire, so order to recovery, how to lower that. When you start focusing on these areas, automatically your financial problems go away. So these were primary learnings, I would say, that apart from the other things. But in general, I would say that a business is a philosophical thing, and it's also a study of psychology, right? So these are some topics we'll talk later about.
Great.
But some of the things that I have learned over a period of time that,
Sir, you spoke about very interesting concepts about finance, about multiple things that you spoke about right now. We want to know about these important fundamental of finances.
Okay.
Can you throw some light on them?
Sure. So I'll tell you maybe 3-4 concepts which I follow and which I've learned obviously from my own business. One thing I just spoke about is being debt free, right? So being debt free does not mean that you don't have any loans. Being debt free means you have more assets than your loans. Okay. So suppose you have 2 crore rupees of loans, but you have 2.5 crore rupees of investments in, let's say, mutual funds. A company is allowed to invest in mutual fund. You can open an account in company's name, and every month, let's say you are doing a SIP of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, and over a period of 2 years, you are generating capital of about 2 crores, 3 crores, whatever it is, in mutual funds. For your normal needs, you are using CC, which is paying salaries, paying taxes. Okay, but that is not the real use of CC actually. CC should be used only for paying suppliers in ideal cases. Okay. Apart from, so obviously because the salary and taxes and everything, tax you collect from the customer and pay to government, and salaries is coming from your profits. So in real sense, CC is only to be used for making suppliers. So it's your operating cycle, operating capital basically. Okay. So you can, so why are you building this asset, let's say in mutual fund? Because it's very difficult to take out money from business otherwise. Suppose you say that I have profit. In your balance sheet, you have profit of, let's say, 3 crores. Do you have 3 crores in the bank? Almost never. Then where is that money? So that money is most of the time with the customers. Other times it's in the inventory. If you're a manufacturing firm, then it's in the inventory. Okay, in these two places you will find all the money. So then where is the free cash flow? Where is the free money that is that should be available with me? So what you need to do is you should start creating some provisions, maybe 5 lakhs, 2 lakhs, whatever is your capacity, and start doing some SIPs and invest that in mutual funds. So build those assets. Okay. With that, what happens is that your CC is there. You create some bit of pressure on your own to collect money faster from the customer, because customer owes you something. So if you are profitable, which means that your costs are lesser than the income. If your income is more than the cost, you have making profit. So in the books, you're making profit,
But
and money is not in the bank, which means money is either with the customers or with the means invested somewhere, which it should not be there. So the first mistake people do is, like I said, use the CC money to buy assets. Okay. In the same topic, I'll tell you one more thing, that I stopped buying computers. So I started renting computers.
oh,
So basic laptops you get for about 2,000 to 3,000 rupees, which are good enough, because normal people that you have in the company will use Outlook, Word, Excel, and a browser. Beyond that, a manufacturing firm does not require a more processor heavy laptop, and that laptop is available for 2,000 to 3,000. It is available on the go. So when a new employee joins, on that day, you can say, deliver me a laptop. If somebody leaves, you say, yo, take back the laptop. If you don't like the laptop, you say that give me a new one. If the laptop slows down, you say, give me a new one. So your capital costs actually simply go away. They simply get converted to expenses. Okay. People might argue that I claim depreciation and everything. But then why do you want to spend money in a depreciating asset? Okay, which is anyway going to slow down in 2 years and you have to replace it. If it's a machine, it's a different story. So this is one philosophy where you are trying to convert capital assets into expenses.
okay,
The advantage of expenses is that it is directly deducted from taxable income.
correct.
Okay, so you basically are reducing your bottom line, but intentionally reducing your bottom line. That's one part. Second part is what I spoke about, that if you want to purchase a machine, then go to a institute like SIDBI, let's say that, okay, which is financing that machine.
Okay.
And that machine is hypothecated to SIDBI.
Oh.
Okay, so it is outside of your banking relations. You are working with HDFC, ICICI, whatever it is. This is on top of that, it's outside it. They will only see your CIBIL score and all those things, CMA report, whatever it is. And then they will say, I'll finance you that money. And you get a term loan, which is, I prefer nowadays 3-year term loan, because 3-year mein it's sufficient. You are generally bored after 3 years. Ki kitna saal chalne wala. So 3 saal mein it is like, okay. So if you take 3-year term loan, that machine is finally dead. That capital asset is yours. You are able to claim depreciation, and on interest you are able to pay expenses. Sab to pura,
It's managed.
yeah, its equation is perfect, and you are building that asset also. Okay. Now the moment you take a term loan, you are saying that I am taking a debt. You are also taking money from CC, which means you are taking a debt. And at the same time, like we said, that the cash is not available in the bank. So for that, to compensate it, what I do is I actually build that money in the stock market.
Okay.
So we do SIPs, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, something like that. And that money goes in the stock market. So if you look at it, my CC utilization might be 2 crores, but there might be 3 crores in the stock market. So the net,
it's all balanced.
is positive. Okay, so I can call myself debt free.
Oh, that's how.
Which is, and it's actually right. It's not that I'm making it up, right? So it's actually
So you know some organizations that are doing this? Any larger organization?
not larger. I do it actually.
Yeah, definitely.
So I
But
think
yes, you spoke about
I think Reliance
Okay.
is like that. So there are a lot of organization, and it is so whenever they call it debt free, it is net assets minus. So asset minus liabilities is the equation. It's not purely that I don't have any loan on me.
Great.
Okay, and it's true for your personal life also. That if you have built up assets, suppose you have houses which are worth 10 crores, and you have some loans which are, let's say, 4 or 5 crores, you are debt free. Okay, the net is positive, which is important. Okay, so this is one part. Second part is actually interesting, that there are a lot of expenses which are one time in a year.
Correct.
Okay, let's say that you have to give Diwali bonus, or you have to take some insurance premiums. These are one time expenses throughout the year. How do you amortize that? What do you mean by amortization? Is basically spreading it over. So can I amortize it over a period of 12 years?
Okay.
The way to do that is do an SIP. So I know that I have to pay, say, 10 lakhs rupees premium in April. So from May to next April, 10 lakh divided by 12. So maybe 80,000. I'll start a SIP in the stock market for 80,000 rupees. And that after end of 1 year, I'll have 10 lakh rupees in the stock market.
Plus, you will have some.
Maybe if the thing stars are good. I mean, maybe till last year you were getting 30% appreciation. So you might actually build some capital and money on that. And as a discipline, at the end of 10 years, even if there is money in the CC, as a discipline, you should sell those units and buy the insurance premium. Okay. So what happened is that you converted a fixed cost, which is an annual fixed cost, into a monthly fixed cost. So your monthly payments, like EMIs, are very preferable because it's manageable.
Correct.
So
Rather
this,
than putting out larger jump.
yes. So suddenly I tell you that pay me 10 lakhs, or I tell you, okay, you next year you have to pay me 10 lakhs. Start preparing right now. This is the way you can start preparing it. Make small FDs if you're not comfortable with stock market. Okay, it's also a good idea to start making recurring deposits, RDs for 10 months, 80,000 rupees. But use that money. Don't then at that time, what happens is people get tempted. Kya re mere CC mein paisa hai, and I might actually pay it off from the CC. Why should I break my RD, or why should I divest from the mutual fund? It's giving me 30% return. So that you have to avoid that temptation, because that's the expense you build it for. So that kind of small financial discipline you require. So this technique can be used for any expense which is foreseeable, like paying deposits, Diwali bonus. I started it for Diwali bonus, by the way, because Diwali bonus is a large chunk of money, like which will pay. Today is 9th, so tomorrow I'll pay Diwali bonus. Okay, that money I withdrew last month.
Okay.
Because you need that much cushion. So 1 month fluctuation, you don't know. Geopolitics today nowadays is very rampant. So what I do is 1 month before the actual payout day, you take out that money, and that is now into FD. So tomorrow the FD will be broken, the money will be paid out. We don't have to worry about how to pay the Diwali bonus. Okay. Similarly, just last point I would say that when I do this, what happens is that accountants are tempted to say that whenever there is a cash crunch, because when you start putting up pressure, start doing these kind of SIPs for any different things, you're putting pressure on your business, right? But like I said, if your business is profit making, that means you have more income than expenses. So which means your money is somewhere else. Okay. So the accountant might come to you and say, ki, the supplier is following up, and then, you have to pay this guy, and there is not much balance available in CC. So you might have to introduce money as a owner. So my question to him is, what is my receivable and what is my payable? Is the receivable larger than payable? If the answer is yes, then I say that I will not introduce any money. Go to the sales guys, ask them to recover money. Okay. So customer is holding my money, and you are asking me to pay money to my supplier using bank's money, which is not right. So recover money from the customer and pay it to the supplier. Okay. As long as that discipline is followed, I don't have to introduce my money. I know that if end of the day something happens, I have to introduce money. That much, even we keep that provision. But that is not that option. I have started reducing and giving to the accountant that no, I will not do it. Even the mutual funds, he sees that, okay, 2 crores are there, withdraw. And no, that discipline you have to keep, that the money owing the supplier, we owe the money to supplier, but that means that somebody owes us money. Recover that and pay. So that means that there is a delay in payment, there is a delay in recovery. All those things are there, but that they are part and parcel of business. And here, important point comes is a relationship. How do you manage your suppliers? So your suppliers, if they are partners to your growth, they accept and understand. If your suppliers are not partners to your growth, then they will start making comments like, I will not give you material because you're not paying me, and all those things, right? Now, in business, what happens is there is nobody who is, in a company like NICHEM, at least I can say very confidently and proudly that there is no intention to default anybody's money. There can be a delay in payment from me to supplier. At the same time, there is a delay in payment from the customer also. And that also I understand. So in spite of all these MSME rules and everything, where a large company is supposed to pay MSME in 45 days. It doesn't happen. And I completely understand that, because it's business. So everybody's trying to recover money from somebody else, and there is a delay in all those recoveries. So if I owe you money today and I call you and say, Ki, I'll take 4 more days, 5 more days, the guy, if he doesn't respond positively to that, then maybe he's not my guy. Okay. Because he also should understand that I'm also having trouble recovering money, and it is a chain. End of the day, it's a cycle. It's not that using his money I'm doing something else. It's about rotation of money, and it's a critical factor where relationship matters. So as I am very closely associated with my customer, I have to also get in relationship with my supplier, making him understand that how the business dynamics work. Like specifically in agro, like I said, now we do only B2B, we stop doing retail. But even when you do B2B, the problem remains almost same, that the recovery is slow. And the nature of the business is such that there is no advance payment coming from anybody. Even the end customer, this is the only area where the end customer also gets credit. Okay. Example is, if you go to buy Parle-G, your grocer or trader is not going to give you any discount. You have to pay money and get the Parle-G. In case of farmer, he gets that chemical on credit. Right? So he gets the chemical on credit, then he uses that in the field, then he grows his crop, then he sells his crop. When he sells his crop, that is the time the money is introduced in the system. Then the reverse flow starts. Okay, so it is going to take 8 to 9 months. Somewhere if somebody introduces money, then you get paid faster. But this cycle is like this. In FMCG cycle, the cycle starts when the customer purchases something. Okay, there is no credit after that. He's not buying it, even if he takes EMI or whatever it is, but the bank is paying the trader, right? Immediately. So the money is introduced the moment the goods are sold. But in agriculture, the situation is different. So this nuances people have to understand, even the suppliers, that even if I am giving the material to this guy, if he's going in the agriculture related field, the cash is going to be generated much later. So somebody needs to take care of it, partially at least. Maybe I'll get partial recovery, maybe I'll get full recovery, or maybe I have to wait for the full recovery at a later stage. But these are the business dynamics that need to be understood by people. And if they work well, then everything works well. Because money is something which people also understand that, ठीक है, it takes थोड़ा आगे पीछे होता है, it takes time. But as long as the intentions are very, very clear that I don't want to default you, it works out.
Those were a lot of great insights that I'm sure a lot of MSMEs will get impacted from, and they will improve their practices. Now,
Thanks.
Coming back to your company, I wanted to know, what does NICHEM stand for?
So NICHEM is literally, NICHEM is niche chemicals. Okay, so it is niche chemicals means we make specialty chemicals. Our chemicals are invented by us. We actually don't do any trading where we purchase somebody else's material, brand it, and sell to somebody else. They are actually chemicals invented, manufactured at our labs. Okay, and when you say specialty chemicals, in our case, specialty chemicals means using our chemicals, you can make a label claim, which means we make antimicrobial additives. So if you use antimicrobial additive in a water bottle or let's say water tank, you can say this is antimicrobial water tank. Okay, we sell anti-rodent, which is a rodent repellent chemical which repels rats, to cable industry. So using our chemical, the cable industry can make a claim that this is an anti-rodent cable. Okay, so my chemicals have a power of giving you a label claim, which is why it is called specialty chemical. And we have more than 125, maybe more products which are invented by us. Obviously, not all are commercialized. We have about 40 odd commercialized today. We have a 6,000 square feet R&D lab where we do all this research. We invent patentable products. Not all products can be commercialized because we are into different verticals. We are into polymer, water, agriculture, and personal care, 4 verticals. But we have a freedom to manufacture or invent any chemical which is not lying in these verticals. So we don't sell those products. So we sell only which is lying in these verticals. But I don't want to restrict R&D from inventing something which they thought that it's a great idea or a great product. So we have given them full freedom. So our R&D expense, by the way, is extremely large. It's about 25% of my staff is in R&D, and 15% of my top line goes in R&D.
Oh.
Okay, which is super high. I mean, if you give my balance sheet to CAs, they will say these guys are mad, because nobody spends that much on R&D. At least not at my level. Okay, but when people say that okay, India is lacking in innovation and all those things, I feel proud that okay, at least we are contributing as NICHEM in that direction, that we are creating some interesting products. And some of the products we don't have even international substitutes.
Wow.
So which is a great achievement, I would say, at my level.
Can you name a few of them which we don't have international?
Antimicrobials.
Okay, what does that mean?
Antimicrobials means basically we make some antimicrobials which will make the plastic surface antimicrobial. So what it means is there are two ways. One is that you are using a water bottle. So if you're touching that water bottle, then the surface of the water bottle may attract bacteria. Maybe you're transferring it from your hand. Okay. Now, suppose Kunal infected it and gave it to you, then it will transfer to you. But if the surface of the bottle is antimicrobial, then it will not allow the bacteria to stay alive. Okay. So this is different from completely like it's not a sanitizer. It is protecting the surface of the plastic to remain and not contribute to the contamination. Okay, this is widely used in water tanks also. So water tank mein innermost layer of the water tank is having antimicrobial layer. Some even pipes, CPVC pipes also use that to not have algae formation, so that the water flow remains steady. So this is one example where we don't have probably even international competition. Some of our even rodent is actually one of the very very good products, and we make something called as VCI, which is corrosion resistance. It's a different industry. So when you're transporting automotive components, you have to wrap them in some plastic bags. So the traditional method is to dip them in oil and protect it, which works very well. But the problem is at the destination you have to clean it up, because the oil is there. So the layer you have to remove. Then the affluent becomes a problem. That how do you manage that? So one simpler way is to use something called as VCI bags, which are vapor corrosion inhibitor bags, which is a plastic bag in which the component is wrapped. It creates its own atmosphere inside the bag. It will protect the component from corrosion. And when you open the bag, it's volatile material, so it just goes away in the air. So all you need to then do is take care of the bag. How do you dispose the bag? It's much easier than actually washing the liquid thoroughly from the component. So VCI is a popular technology. It's very widely used in automotive industry, especially in India, because we make a lot of automotive components and export. So in that export, it is used widely. Our product is actually, I would say, that is very, very good, and it is pretty much either competing or better in many cases from the world competition.
Wonderful. I think after knowing this, we also want to understand, like we all already spoke about finances, but we want to know how has been the growth of your business from the start, and what are your current figures, and what are you aiming at in the next 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years?
Sure. So obviously, when we started 2014, it was a very small business, sub crore business. We have reached about 40 crores level now. We just finished 11 years on 1st October actually. Okay, thank you. So in 11 years, we have reached this level. This is all in specialty chemicals, which are used in a very small amount. So the difference in specialty and commodity chemicals, just to very simply explain you, specialty chemicals is like a salt in the entire food. A pinch of it can change the entire property, but you only need a pinch. Wow. Okay. So specialty chemical is like that. When I say antimicrobial chemical, it is probably 0.01% of the entire weight of the product, or sometimes even lesser actually. But it will give you that entire property and label claim. So the volumes that we do are not big by the nature of the product, but the cost is high, the value is very high. So we don't require too much manufacturing facility. We are manufacturing in 10,000 square feet. We started with our total facility before, when we started in the first year, was about, I think, less than 3,000 square feet totally. Now today we are crossing 30,000 square feet.
Wow.
But that includes our office, manufacturing, the lab, and the store. Everything put together is more than 30,000. So the growth has been phenomenal. We have now about 90 employees, which is another good figure for me. So from 7 odd people to we reach this level, which is a great thing. And the second question, where you say growth, right? So that's a question which is most interesting. That what do you mean by growth? How big is big?
Yeah.
Okay, that's another thing. Right? I'll give you a simple question. That a person who is running a business, let's say for 40 years, and he is at this level, 30-40 crores types. Okay, he's taking home decent amount of money. He can afford luxury cars, maybe BMWs, etc. Has multiple properties. Okay, as opposed to that, let's say a owner of a 500 crore company who's also taking home very good amounts. But the guy at 40 crores is also able to afford a BMW. Maybe not a 7 series, but maybe a 5 series. Yeah. And the 500 crore guy is able to afford even a Maybach. Okay. But what is the difference in that 5 series and this thing? So what is the value addition in that particular segment? You are already, so the way people perceive is a 5 series is as good as a Maybach. You know that, okay, it's better, but they're only slightly better. So from a,
That mindset shift is already there, that both are at a
very good levels, right? Similarly about properties, everything. So end of the day, when you reach a certain level, after that, so there is a interesting theory called law of diminishing returns, law of diminishing marginal returns. Okay, it's a economic theory mainly based on production, where when you start putting more resources, your output decreases. So it's like a curve that when you start putting resources, your output goes up. After a point, it starts decreasing. Okay. The same thing can be applied to money. The same theory. Personal wealth, I would say. That after a point, the more you earn, probably the quality or overall satisfaction, everything starts diminishing more than increasing. Okay. Management becomes more difficult. So as there's a popular saying that if you have more money, you have more ways to spend it. Suddenly you can start affording more and more and more things. You can do anything, and then you see that everything is an expenditure, and then you have more ways to lose it also, right, at the end of the day. So this is again, like I said, so why business is philosophical. This is the main thing, that what is growth? How fast is fast? How big is big? Is 500 big enough? Is 1,000 crore big enough? Right? So we deliberated a lot on these things, and we delivered a lot more because my partner is 71, my dad is 78, and my partner's wife, who recently joined, is about 69 years of old, and I am 47. So I have few years ahead of me, but maybe they don't. And that is the time when we realize that there's no end point.
Exactly.
Right? How much you want to grow, chase, and what that growth is going to cost us. Okay. Now, if we try to grow fast and big, today, the capital that we have available is not going to be enough. Today, we are pretty much working with our own profits. We have zero finance raised from outside, apart from banks, which I talked about, the CC and the term loan, which is going to be there anyway, in spite of whether I become 10 crore or 1,000 crore. These two finance modes are going to be there. But there's no equity participation from anybody outside so far in the business. Okay. Which is again the IPOs and all other things. So if you do that, or in the worst case, let's say just we borrow some money from somewhere on loan and try to grow, what is going to mean for us? It's going to mean that it's going to add something called as stress. Okay, that now because there is money, you have to show the returns. And if you don't show the returns, then that money is going to cost you even more. Okay, so it's going to work the other way. It came in for a purpose of with a positive note, and then it becomes a liability, right? So we deliberated this a lot and in fact last 2 to 3 years we have thought about it a lot, because I was personally of an opinion earlier to maybe go for a private equity after we become maybe 100 CR type of level, and then exit through an IPO over, let's say, 4 or 5 years, main market IPO, those kind of things. And then my partner asked me that, what are you going to achieve with that? Okay. And then when you think about it, actually it makes so much sense that today we have all the freedom in the world. Like I said, that okay, we have 125 products and we are spending this kind of money on the R&D, which even the CA says that this is stupid. What is the investor going to say about it?
I mean, you suddenly start getting questions. You have to prove everything. Everything
show
is
the
gone.
numbers, and then the moment somebody pulls a plug on the innovation, NICHEM dies. NICHEM lives for the concept of this innovation or creating something new, something different, something crazy all the time. And if that entire fabric is gone, then what do we stand for? And then what is the difference in me being Saba 10 years ago and me being here now? Okay. And fortunately, all my partners are totally aligned with this philosophy.
Wow.
Though it was not my original philosophy, but when this was promoted and when we started deliberating, we decided that yes, this is the way we want to go. There is no reason to do anything different right now. There is no reason to be crazy. We are already being crazy in the R&D lab. That's probably good enough. And that's why, more interestingly, we are still a partnership firm, which we were on track to convert to private limited. A lot of people will tell you that no, it is a better structure. Private limited is a more professional. I'll tell you that I work with multinationals. I work with 3M. I work with US based companies. People have audited us. Nobody ever asked us, why are you a partnership firm? And nobody has denied us business because we are a partnership firm. Okay, so that clearly means that there is no such hindrance. It's all in the mind. And if you want to be professional, you can be professional anyway. You don't have to be a private limited or a public limited company to become compliance oriented. The corporate governance part of it, we understand it very thoroughly. We take it very seriously. So even after being a partnership firm, you can be professional. You can be completely following compliances, and corporate governance is not something which is only to be followed by public limited companies. Even companies like us can follow that, and we actually take it very seriously. We have understanding of it, and wherever applicable, though we don't have to fill forms for ROC and all those things, but we take it seriously, that we implement that, we abide by that. And like I said, it has not been a hindrance for me, but it also gives me a lot of flexibility in operation. Just one small point before we move on to the next question, that a lot of people have this notion that private limited means that the liability of the partner or the director goes down, because by nature, private limited company is a separate entity and directors are separate entities. If that were true fully, then why do you call Vijay Mallya a thief? Okay, I'm not a big fan of Vijay Mallya or something. It's not to be taken in that context. But the example that I want to give you is the entire loan, 4,000 crore loan or whatever that amount was taken by Kingfisher, which was a private limited or a public company, whichever what was it. Then why are the liabilities transferred to Vijay Mallya? Because he gave a personal guarantee. So nowadays, the banks, whenever they give you any loan, they won't spare you, because they will make sure that they recover money one way or other. Okay, so by nature, if the private limited company means that there is no liability on the director, or there is a limited liability on the director, the banks, by signing personal guarantees, will make sure that you are having full liability of the loans. Okay, so this myth that it is giving it actually, my liabilities are getting lower is not true. One way or other, you are going to pay for it. And if you are anyway going to pay for it, then why not a firm which is full liability?
So I just want to understand that you being in the specialty chemical industry, we would like to in short know about, are there any specific regulatory compliances that you have to do and follow and update them? Can you throw some?
Yes, actually, a lot. Not only because of specialty, but also because of a chemical industry. So, chemical industry it comes under regulations in every single country. So, every product that we make, in spite of the division, comes under regulations. So, if you make anything for personal care, it will attract even more. It will require cosmetic FDA, etc. We have a choice of getting a job work done. We don't have FDA facility, so we can get it done from somewhere else and say that it is manufactured by us, as long as we have agreement with those guys, which is perfectly legal. But the regulations are very strict. In agriculture, government is becoming more and more strict. It's saying that in India, about up to 3 years ago, there were a lot of products which were unregulated. So they were called bio products. We have herbal products, we have herbal extracts and natural products. So they were not coming under any regulations. But now in this, I think this year government said that even that will come under regulations. So whichever is not under regulation is not to be sold. There is a complete blanket ban on it. So in India, the regulations that we follow are there. FDA is required in certain cases. Agriculture is required. Licenses are required. Abroad, every single thing is registered. So if we go to Europe, then there is something called as REACH. REACH, I don't remember the full form, but it's something to do with the restrictions of chemicals. The R stands for restrictions and CH is for chemicals. So the restrictions of so that REACH is a body which says that every chemical that comes into Europe from anywhere around the world needs to be certified, registered. So they need to declare the ingredients. They need to say the unit is submit the safety data, etc. In US, there is something called as EPA, which is Environmental Protection Agency. So that each EPA license costs 60 lakhs. In REACH, each product costs even more. Europe has something called as BPR for antimicrobials, etc., which is even more costly, maybe about 1 crore. But all those we see as entry barriers, where if we are registered under EPA, very few people are registered under EPA in antimicrobial. So we are actually reducing the competition. And also, with that, when you say that this product is EPA registered, it automatically means that this is safe for environment, because that is the reason why EPA exists. So it means that whatever you are saying, that when we always say that we are an environmentally friendly company and we don't use any chemicals intentionally which are damaging the environment, EPA registration actually certifies that yes, whatever we are saying is true. Okay, so I look at it that way, that okay, it's a kind of justification to the claim that I'm making. But worldwide, like I said, there are heavy regulations around chemicals. It differs. You can end use. If you're selling a product for end use, there are more. If you're selling a product for intermediary, there are lesser. But there is restriction on chemicals everywhere.
Sir, you mentioned that you have a team of 90 people now. I wanted to ask, what kind of culture are you trying to develop at NICHEM, and how do you look at it 10 years down the line?
So about 3 years ago, we actually started doing a formal culture exercise where we said that we want to implement a culture where we are talking about being innovative, being more responsive, being more supportive, collaborative to each other. To your initial question also, that why I prefer to work in smaller companies, because in smaller companies, the culture is very different. It's more open. However, it is owner driven. So the culture of the company is a reflection of personality of the owner most of the times. So our effort is to go away from that and establish a culture where the external interface, wherever a customer or a vendor or anybody who is talking to an NICHEM employee, gets a consistent experience. The way he is speaking, the way he is respecting that person or collaborating with him or giving out information or asking for information, whatever it is, it should be in a certain manner. We also want to promote a culture of innovation, of course, because we are an innovative company. So people coming out, innovation doesn't always mean inventing something new. It's also basically means that using certain things in a different way, right? It's an innovative way of using things. So it can be a software, it can be maybe a small document which is changing the life of working life of people. So that kind of culture we want to promote and implement. Believe me, it's very difficult to, it's easy to say and difficult to implement, but there has to be a constant effort. If you stop or deviate, it's gone basically. The consistency of that implementation is very crucial over there.
So we also want to understand, while we understand the importance of culture, and we also, have certain challenges while doing it, but we also want to understand that how do you keep your people motivated, and what do you do when there are pressure situations? And another important thing is, what difference do you feel or find when you hire a very new talent compared to the talent who's a little experienced? Do you want to also speak about that?
Little controversial, I would say.
Yeah, that's
How to keep people motivated and keep happy is again a constant effort. So there is no right or wrong. Yeah, there is no golden rule to do it. Okay, that this is what to do. And generally, if you see this, have you heard of this Maslow's pyramid?
yeah.
Right. So self-actuation is something which is the last state of this thing. So our people have not reached there yet. It is one level below where rewards are motivating people. So one way to find out is doing a employee satisfaction survey, and which is yielding pretty good results, which says that people have now moved from the basic needs to need where they have a need of recognition.
Okay.
So we are doing two things. One is where we have culture awards. So suppose somebody displayed a very good behavior, which is we have 9 behaviors listed. Innovation is one of them. Being innovative, collaborative, persistent. Those are the behaviors. So if you see that perseverance is a behavior. So if you see that some sales guy is actually very perseverant and he follows up with the customer, let's say 9 times, 10 times, 15 times, and then converts the customer into a paying customer, then that is a display of perseverance. So we give them a small medal. That effort is recognized, and anybody can recommend anybody. It's not that only management recognizes and rewards them. There is no monetary reward associated with that. There is a medal, and we have a small board on which they stick that. It's a magnet where they stick it. This is a very small motivational thing. Because there is no monetary reward or something, it is not something which is kind of prestigious to the employees. But still, when you are given that award in front of everybody, there is a sense of achievement, right? And sense of pride that you got it, and which is what we want to reward, which is what we want to also display, that when this kind of behavior is displayed, it is recognized. So small recognition is there. Then in Diwali, we will have a Employee of the Year award. But the Employer of the Year is not just one employee from the entire organization, because we have from workers to the HODs, many different levels. So we give it for each level basically. So grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then grade 4. All those levels, among them, they will get a award. The catch there is they have to nominate themselves.
Oh.
It is not going to be identified by the management. So even if I know that Kunal is a great worker, he has done an amazing job, but Kunal fails to submit a form,
It's gone.
he is out of the race, because that is the, I believe that
they have to nominate themselves, or they can nominate other people.
No, mainly they have to nominate themselves. If you can encourage somebody else to fill that form.
Great.
Because see, that is the start, right? Self-worth is very important. That if you don't feel that you are not worthy to get that award, then why should I feel it? Okay, so we have some employees which are feeling it very regularly, and I actually appreciate. So sometimes we feel that it was not required because this guy has not done anything great, but I really appreciate that guy nominated. Yeah, because that is the start, right?
That value of self-worth is there actually.
Is there, absolutely. So it is critical. Interestingly, we don't have any attrition. Okay, so most of our employees are very old. Some of them have.
How is that possible?
So we don't.
You can.
I don't know really. I mean, it's not that we have done something outstanding but like I said in the beginning,
just drilling down a little deeper, what is that thing that keeps them glued to the organization?
Coming to that, which is what I said, that the leadership stands on 2 pillars according to me: time and relationship. The relationship part, probably we are doing well. My partner, Mr. Rajay, is actually very empathetic towards employees right from beginning. I mean, even before I was. So me coming from a corporate background, I was not that empathetic earlier to, because I used to keep a boundary that, okay, this guy needs to solve his own problems. But my uncle is like all out. If you have a issue, then he will, and he has a very good network of doctors. So he will take him to a doctor, sometimes send his driver and car that you go and do it. Don't ignore these kind of things. So there is a warmth in the company. Okay.
Wow.
Which I believe that is working well. Lot of times it's not about the salaries or rewards and these things, but if there is an environment which you have created which is pretty open, my employees can come and at least talk to me about what they don't like. It's immaterial whether I will listen to them or not, but at least I mean hear them. I may not implement it, but they know that okay, they can come to me and talk to me about the issue, that this is what we should do. And if I'm not going to do it, I'll take efforts to explain them that why this thought process is inconsistent to overall picture, because I may have some more information which they don't have. But that culture is important, that they are feeling it free, open door policy kind of a thing, that they can come and talk. Maybe it is working. So, but like I said, so the attrition levels are, when I say no, it's not really zero, but it's very, very low. Yeah, we can count it on fingers.
We spoke about your 40 crore turnover. We spoke about next to zero attrition. But there are also some negative points or some pressure situations that you might have to handle while running a company. Can you explain one such pressure point that you have faced?
The worst period was this 2017-18 period, where we had severe cash crunch. Okay, so that was, I just spoke about that also actually in the earlier, that which is the question is, so in IT industry, the salaries are very good, that. So all my, even juniors, people used to report to me, have reached very good levels. Now they have become AVPs, VPs maybe. And so to get the salary which I was getting in 2014, to make that much in NICHEM, it was almost 2020. Okay, till that time everybody must have gone ahead, but since then it has been a different story. Exactly, right. But again, my vision and purpose was extremely different. I had a purpose to come here. It was not, I was not frustrated with my boss, or that I should do something on my own because I've been doing it for somebody else. These were not my reasons to start NICHEM, right? So my purpose was very clear, and I was sure that in the long run it will work out. And we were on the right track, because my partner and me keep on discussing every time that what we are doing wrong, how we should improve. So there is a method to the madness. There is a direction, I would say. But the period was frustrating, definitely, right? Because ultimately the success is money. If the money is not there, then you are not successful. So that was a critical period, and it was actually a kind of eye-opener also at the same time, because in 17-18 was the period when we very seriously and dove deep into our financial mess to understand that what was going wrong, and then completely turned it around. Okay, which is I would say, great success story for myself, because myself as management, me and my partner, because we spend a lot of time understanding our issues. Then all these things, like I said, like cash conversion cycle, where is my money, is a constant question. Like if you give me an AI tool today and AI tool reads my data, I will ask it only one question: where is my money? Okay, so that finding your money, in the system, is the challenge that everybody has, and up to an extent, I would say that we have been successful in solving that.
So, adding to what Janak also asked, moving forward, you have, as a leader, how do you handle this uncertainty? Because at any given point of time, that something new is going to come up. So we want to understand the feeling and exact way of how do you handle the uncertainties in your business as a person. Also, if you want to share with us your experiences.
Again, I will say that it's more philosophical, right? Doing business is more philosophical than this thing. So in the old days, old means when we started 2014, 15, those days, we used to meet people who would say that, oh, you have such wonderful products, allow me to sell it, I will make sure that your factory doesn't stop, etc., etc. And we used to get very excited about it. So as the time progressed, we realized that it doesn't happen that way. It's not that easy. What our chemicals can do, cannot do, how much they can sell, all those things. So basically we have become more practical, and we have also we have become, you can say less, it's more steady in emotions, not too much excited about success and not too depressed about the failures. Okay, so if some account goes or some customer complaint comes, or somebody is not happy, whatever it is. So earlier we used to get pretty much disturbed and spend some sleepless nights trying to solve the issue deep down and hands on what is going on. It has reduced up to an extent. It is now little stable, that okay, we say fair enough, let's gather information, what has gone wrong, ask, maybe have a customer call, understand from him what is going on. If required, make a visit to him, try to sit across the table and see. But the overall anxiety part is now better managed, I would say. Okay, in both cases. If somebody promises that I will give you a 50-ton order, from there somebody saying that your product is not working and I will file a lawsuit against you, both cases, now we are much more matured to handle it in a in a better way. Not that the second one has not happened yet, that but there are of course customer complaints, right? Because end of the day it's manufacturing, where producing consistent quality is a challenge, and there is only one way. It's not only consistent, but you have to keep on improving. You have to make efforts to improve all the time and deliver the consistent quality, because customer has what you need to understand is customer is also betting on your product. If your product has a potential to make a label claim, let's say they're antimicrobial, and if you give him a product which is not antimicrobial, suppose a batch is not working, and customer made a product, sold it in the market, by chance one of his customers actually got infection, there is a lawsuit, what is going to happen? So I have to think about his reputation. This is what I was talking about earlier also, that if I am part of my customer success, then it makes sense, then the customer values that more. It's not my success to sell him more chemicals. Actually, I want him to succeed more in the market, maybe using my chemicals, so that my business also grows, right? This understanding is very critical.
What is your long-term vision for NICHEM?
Long-term vision, like I said earlier also, that first of all, we don't have too many targets. Okay, not a revenue target. Like definitely we want to become 100 crore, then larger 150. But if I say that I want to become by 28, which is in 3 years, even I know that it's not going to be possible. Okay, so maybe I'll take 5 years. And in 5 years also, if it doesn't happen, I reach 90, I will still be happy. Okay.
So your vision is satisfaction.
Yes, my vision is that it's more on efforts than on results. Okay, consistent efforts to do better, consistent efforts to do innovation, bring out new products, bring out products that solve problems. Okay, not the other way around, that I brought a product and now figure out what problem it solves. It is more satisfying to us, and exactly like you said, that the satisfaction in the business is far more important for us than getting these kind of numbers hit.
So I think, sir, this was a fantastic, conversation with you. This brings me to the last question, because we have time limitation, but otherwise we would have gone for a day talking about this. So my question to you is, what message would you like to give to the next generation of MSME founders out there in India, who are trying to build something, who are trying to do something? What message you would want to give them?
One very important thing is, I had gone to one conference long time ago when I was an employee that time. So they talked about something called as fail fast theory. Okay, now fail fast theory, after lot of analysis and number of years in the industry, I've realized that fail fast theory works when you are coming out with a completely radical or a disruptive concept in the market. Maybe you can currently equate it to quick commerce. If maybe try it for 6 months, if it doesn't work, fail fast. It works very well for those kind of concepts which are disruptive in the nature, which are also going to require a lot of capital. right? And maybe the concept is good, maybe the execution is not bad, but wherever it is, you need to find that the failing here is critical than continuing, right? Diminishing returns, the law that I said. Maybe it is right time to quit. But apart from those situations, quitting is not an option. So when I rather left my job and came here, some people actually asked me whether it's my trial, ki I'll try it for a year. If it doesn't work, I'll go back. And the answer was no. I have burned that bridge. Okay, the bridge was burnt in the sense that if I don't succeed here, I'll try something else. But the river is already crossed and the bridge is already burnt. There is no way to go back to that situation. Okay. And here the perseverance matters, because if you go in a fail fast mode all the time, then you are not giving your 100%. Then you are not actually giving it enough time to even materialize, or maybe you are not giving yourself enough chances to succeed. If you know that there is no chance but to succeed, you will figure out a way to succeed. Okay, so this is another theory of constraints, where you don't have too many resources and you are constrained with certain things and you don't have any other way. So one very famous example, if we have that time, there was in World War II, there was nitric acid was required for explosives, and there was only one way to make nitric acid, and it was by bird fallings. So bird falling was a critical raw material to make nitric acid, and that bird was available only in area which was with the Allies, not with the Germans. So Germans then had a shortage of nitric acid. So Hitler told his scientists that you have 3 months to create an alternate method to create nitric acid artificially. And scientists obviously said initially impossible, etc. Whatever it is, the reality is that they created an alternate method in maybe 1944-45, whatever that year was. Even today, that remains one of the primary methods of creating nitric acid artificially, even today. So what it means is that you have to give yourself chances. Okay, so the constraints are always there. It's going to happen. Finances are going to be less. Sometimes time is going to be less, whatever it is. But if you don't give up and keep working for it, maybe you'll see the light of the day.
Wonderful.
So, Aniket sir, thank you so much. Your journey from IT to specialty chemicals, NICHEM's journey, truly embodies the spirit of the MSMEs of India. And it really defines Asli MSME ki Asli Kahani. So, thank you so much for coming here for our podcast and sharing your insights.
Thanks. Thank you guys for inviting me here. It was great talking to you.